In part 1, I touched upon Spike Jonze, Where the Wild Things Are from 2009, and all I really kind of mentioned was how melancholy and sad it was throughout it. But another big part of that film was how beautiful it looked, particularly its colour palette. It made great use of ochres and washed out blues, which kind of leads me on to like what's so fantastic about this game. With its kind of monochromatic palette that you see a lot in kind of contemporary design of this. You have the black or the darkest colours to the front, and then it kind of gives way as it gets lighter and lighter until it's a white in the background. I suppose like we see it a lot in contemporary work, but it kind of has a lot of place in classical art as well. Like if you think of Picasso's blue period from the early 1900s, was it 1901? I think he started making them. Just as his career was kind of picking up, he started making these really dour paintings that depicted kind of the common folk and the outcasts of Spanish society that people didn't really want to buy, and it kind of threw his career a bit off trajectory. He stopped making money for a few years. It's no coincidence that he followed it with his Rose period that was a bit more accessible. Though the best example I can think of, obviously the most famous ones are like the guitar player and that, but Celestina definitely has no other colours other than the blue in it, which in itself is a pretty cool painting. If this kind of old woman with cataracts, when you take into consideration how much sight and perception would matter to Picasso throughout his career, that he kind of had this idea that blindness gave you a different sort of sight and insight to see reality in a different way, to see the truth of the world, which obviously was one of the core principles what would go on to become Cubism. Another really famous artist that used blue quite a lot in his work is excuse me, sorry about that, is Yes Klein. It's French, I don't know why I'm saying it in a German accent. But he was a painter that after kind of one of his shows, he was reacting to the audience and how they perceived his kind of brightly coloured. All his canvases were just painted in one colour, and it was quite bright, and he used a lot of colours from like your reds, blues, greens, yellows, etc, etc. And he didn't like how people kind of interpreted them, so he decided to put on a show that was going to have 11 different canvases, all of this blue that he, along with Edward Adam, created, called, what was it, the IKB, the International Klein Blue. It was really reminiscent of lapis lazuli, kind of an old blue pigment that was used way back when to kind of show off how wealthy some patrons were by using it to paint the Virgin Mary in her blue shrouds. But anyway, back to the IKB blue. Sorry, I'm going to have to cut that coughing out. One of the most he put on the show with these 11 paintings. They were all on different sized canvases and were all kind of valued differently, because he believed people would pay whatever they thought people would respond to different canvases and would pay what they thought was of value to them. But eventually the show went on the road, and it became almost a seminal event when they were shown. Like thousands of blue balloons would be left off. Particularly this was the Para show. There was blue stamps and postcards sent out. I think Klein himself bribed the post office to accept the IKB blue stamps as legitimate currency. There's this brilliant urban myth as well about that they served cocktails that turned the guests' piss blue when they went to the toilet. So you had this exhibition that all the invites, all the work, everything was blue right down to your pee. Blue was coming out of you, blue was in you, blue was the world. Yeah, fantastic stuff. And that looks like we have another level done. The boss is defeated. One of these beasts that have my lover is dead. Let us go forward.